Hello everyone, it's Mrs. Depew again. I wanted to do a quick video to show you how to separate these pieces into separate pattern pieces, basically just by tracing them onto a separate piece of paper. When I do a drafted home pattern like this, I don't cut out my original pattern. I call that my master pattern, and I keep it the way it is so that if I find any fit issues or measurement issues, I can adjust them on this piece and then play with my tracings so that I don't have to keep redrawing the pattern over and over again. So I've traced out the cut pieces. I've also added some notches to these because sometimes you can mix up 2 and 3 on a cut piece, and also always label them as you trace them so that you can always refer back to your master pattern if you get confused about what fits to what. So I've added a 1/2 inch seam allowance to these cut pieces using just a clear ruler. Another thing I suggest is while you're tracing or before you trace, true your pattern. So for people who are new to pattern drafting, truing means taking measurements and trying the pieces against each other to make sure that the seams are going to match up perfectly and not have anything left over on one side. And that's what we need to do with this line right here. This one is about a little over 1/8 of an inch longer or shorter than this one is. So I just fixed that in my tracing, and I'll make a note of it on my master pattern sheet later. This one's a little bit longer now to fit that. So these will be our test cut pieces. Cut those out and fit them first. These are mostly designed for a B cup. Anything in the drafted home lingerie area is a basic B. And then from there, if you have a larger cup size, which I'm guessing most of you will, B is not too standard, is you'll want to extend this line this direction. So if you think about it as a 3D model, a larger breast is going to come out like this from this cup, which means this line will need to have more of a curve to it. And then you can readjust these as you trace them from there. And then always, if you're using a drafted home pattern, or any pattern really, make a test muslin out of cheap fabric or similar fabric to what you're going to use. But you'll always have a little tiny fitting you want to do. Nothing is ever, almost never perfect the first time. So always make a test version, and that's a great way to true your seams too, is knowing what's off before you cut into $30 a yard fabric. So that is how we make separate cut pieces, and as I go along, I'll do that to every piece on here so that I have practice versions to cut out and sew with. So, happy sewing!